Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having an Aries sun and a Cancer ascendant. Now, having this combination, well, you have these two very conflicting signs, and especially if you have the square aspect between this and in your Aries Sun and Cancer Ascendant, you might feel somewhat misconstrued or misunderstood by others, and because you're projecting often a very vulnerable, sensitive, and emotional nature, very nurturing, but yet hurt readily, where the Aries Sun is generally not as compassionate. They're more direct than a Cancer, and inwardly this person may be a lot more straightforward and blunt and outspoken. Aries is generally not worried about the feelings of others when they make a statement. They could be rather brusque and blunt in their expression. And Cancer rising is one which generally is not going to say something inadvertently, unwittingly, or intentionally, which may hurt someone, because they understand what it's like to be hurt, and they really have maybe a little more compassion as far as this goes. And the thing about it is, when you look at these two signs, Cancer rising could be very introverted, and they could be very strongly about family. Family may dominate their lives, and Aries is about kind of being independent and kind of doing things, I think, on their own, maybe to some degree. Aries Sun, their basic wants can be connected with maybe something pioneering, something that has to do perhaps with notoriety, attention, accolades, recognition for their accomplishments. And having the rising sign can often indicate the way we go about getting the basic wants, which is indicated by our sun sign. Now, the Cancer rising can be somewhat indirect in their approach, so it might be safe to conclude, therefore, that maybe a person with Cancer rising and Aries sun sign may have an indirect approach going about what the things, the basic wants that they want. And it could be done perhaps through family members, perhaps through becoming emotionally connected with others. I find what's interesting is that many of you may not, I don't believe I ever stated this in any of my videos, but I was engaged to somebody when I was 19, to a woman that was an Aries sun and had Cancer rising. And one time there was a family member that made a statement about pertaining to the woman's weight, because she was a little bit on the heavy side. And her response, the woman that had the Cancer rising and the Aries sun, said, "Well, why would she say that? She's not exactly a lightweight either," or something similar to that. So I think it was interesting, because I think in that statement you kind of saw the sensitivity of Cancer ascendant, and then coupled with the brusqueness connected with the sun and Aries, and you have the directness. I believe she also had Mercury in Aries, so that plays a role as well, and in terms of having certain outspokenness. Now, the outspokenness may come forth in a little softer manner, considering the person has a Cancer ascendant, and this person will be a little bit more passive, less disputatious or quarrelsome or argumentative, having a Cancer rising with the Aries sun, as opposed to somebody that was a double Aries. And this person with a Cancer ascendant will be less, probably, I'm sure, less outspoken, less brusque, less blunt with what he or she says, as opposed to, say, an Aries sun with a fire ascendant. So the reality too is that now maybe in some instances you might have a little bit better blending with the Aries sun and Cancer ascendant. Let's take an example. Let's say that somebody had, think about this, has a late a late Aries sun degree, and let's say the person has an early Cancer rising degree. Well, this would make an out of sign sextile, and you could see maybe these energies will somehow maybe work a little bit better together, such as somebody maybe getting some kind of leadership position, maybe in something Cancer related, such as like maybe a leader of a home renovation group or some siding group, some home improvement group, something maybe in architecture or something in real estate where they have their own business, or something run from home where they show the leadership attributes and qualities. Now, the thing is, if you some cases the person might have the sun in Aries in the 10th house, and that's where, if Cancer is rising in the 10th house matters, is where the Aries energy may come out strongly, such as the public image, the career livelihood, perhaps matters connected with authority figures, superiors, supervisors. In some cases, it may be in the 11th house, and in those cases, it can come out more. That Aries sun might come out strongly with humanitarian endeavors, friends, groups, organizations, acquaintances, maybe things connected with social networking, and in some cases, well, I think mainly it would be in either the 10th or the 11th, but in some cases, someone with Cancer rising can have an Aries midheaven and have the sun in Aries in the 9th. So in those cases, you would see the sun and Aries come out more in 9th house matters, such as in-laws if applicable, perhaps matters maybe with publishing, if the person publishes something, matters connected with philosophy, religion, higher education. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the sun in Aries and a Cancer ascendant. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.